All right, it is 8:01. So good morning, everyone, and what a very, very special, incredible supervisor school opportunity this is. We just can't believe how lucky we are. Mark and I couldn't sleep last night, knowing that we had this incredible opportunity of, having Chad join us online. And I'll hand it over to Mark in a second, but we met Chad just a couple of months ago when we had the opportunity to head over to Patriot Nutrition. And so many of you are following, Patriot, you're feeling the energy, you've heard all of the incredible experiences that we had, when we had that day there with the gang. And we're so grateful for that opportunity because look how much we've changed since then. And we were having these discussions with Chad and saying, this is where things are at, this is where we want to go. And we just soaked up every little piece of his wisdom that we could over quite a few liftoffs that day. So we definitely tested the mega dosage law. But Chad is the perfect person for this time of transition for us. And we're just super, super grateful. His business is on fire, guys. He's on his way to president's team, just qualified millionaire team 7,500. And to have him on this call today, like, please, please, please take the most notes you've ever taken before and soak in all of the goodness. So from me to you, Chad, love having you on the call, and I'm going to hand it over to Mark now as well. So.
Yes, from us to you, Chad, we thank you. And from the wider group, we thank you as well, because like Em said, yes, you're on your way to President's team, but that's done. We know you're on the way to 15K and beyond. So, guys, we've got a very special 60 minutes here with Chad. I'm not going to build up too much. I'm going to hand the call over to him very shortly. He's going to go for around the first 5-10 minutes and just introduce himself, give you a little bit of background on who he is, how he's landed where he is now, and the Herbalife journey as a whole. His name's Chad, but we call him the Chad because there's only one individual like Chad, and he was very kind to us in terms of the time investment, the resource investment. He opened up his club, his business, and he showed us what we wanted to see at our request. So it's just a very special time here. Chad, I'm going to hand it over to you for the first 5 or 10 minutes, man. You do your thing. You can go Chad all over these guys because they're up and about, they're ready, they're waiting. And this is obviously an environment where we can just tell it how it is. We'll then go for around 50 minutes, guys, just with a bit of Q&A and extract the information from our special guest. So, Chad, welcome to the call, and thanks once again.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. I mean, it's an honor and a privilege to be on with y'all. So this is just as much for me as it is for you guys. As they said, my name is Chad. I'm half of the Chad and Lisa St. Aubin team. My wife actually has her own nutrition club in another town that she runs on a daily basis. I'm over here at Patriot. It was kind of like a divide and conquer situation for us. It all started when I was a little bitty boy. No, I'm just kidding. About 11 years ago, I got introduced to the product. And I got introduced to the product because I needed to lose some weight. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror anymore. I was 225 pounds. I was getting ready to turn 40. I just gave away my age, so you guys can do the math. And I really didn't like what I saw in the mirror anymore. I was getting fluffy. I was 225 pounds. I had always been somewhat of an athlete growing up, always been in the gym. I was a gym rat for sure. And I happened to run into, anybody know Mr. Wick, Jason Wick? Okay, I ran into him in a gym. He was doing a sampling at a gym, and they had just opened up a smoothie shop in my hometown of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. For those of you that aren't familiar with Grand Rapids, Minnesota, that's where it's cold 10 months out of the year, and we get summer for 2. It's like, and they're selling ice cold smoothies, right? But you know what? The biggest thing is, I tasted the peanut butter cup smoothie. I had drank a lot of proteins in the past. You always had to plug your nose, tip them back, and just get it done for the purpose, right? And I was willing to do that, but then I found something that I didn't have to do that with. I fell in love with the taste straight out of the gate. I went down to their smoothie shop that they had just opened up, which is kind of what this call is all about. And I got onto a program, which I know y'all call it a breakfast program, I believe, right? Same thing. I got into a program, lost 55 pounds in 2.5 months, took my body fat from 24% down to 9%, and that was at 40. And now I'm 50 and I'm still maintaining 9 to 11% body fat on a daily basis. So during that whole transition, obviously people saw my results, right? And they started asking me. Well, I was shoving people because we were multiple business owners at the time. We owned 5 different businesses and we had 5 kids at home. Okay. So we were kind of busy, right? But people started noticing, and I'm just funneling people to Jason, funneling people to Jason, funneling people to Jason. And it took him, so, I mean, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, right? It took him 8 months to get me to a training of just consistent follow-up. I'd go into the club and I would sit there. I was like, I've never seen the show Cheers, where like everybody knows your name. I'm not sure. Okay, you got that over there? Okay. Well, I was like the norm of their nutrition club. I'd go sit at the bar for 3 hours minimum a day, drink tea, drink smoothies, and eventually I'm explaining to the new people that were coming into the club what they were going to get. And I didn't even want to do nothing with the product. I just love the product. I love the energy. I love the environment. My wife got on board with it after she noticed my results. She went from a size 9 to a size 4 in like 4 months. We have 5 kids. We currently have 5 walking grandchildren, 2 more on the way. But then what happened was our daughter was going off to college. We went, and then so that was Jason's window of opportunity. And I'm going to get into why it's so important to listen to your customers when they come into the bar for key things. So I was looking for an opportunity for our daughter to make a little bit of extra college money while she was at college. And Jason said, you know what, we got a training coming up in a few weeks. I was probably like a couple months away. And he said, you want to go? I said, great, I'll be there. And I've always been a man of my word. Little did I know, I had a big construction company, and we always had heavy equipment because we plowed snow and we did a lot of lawn care. And the day that I committed to Jason to go to that event was the day of the big auction where I used to go buy all of my equipment for the year for the construction company. And being a man of my word, I let the auction go. I know why now. Nothing ever happens everything happens for a reason, right? We went to that event with our daughter, had no idea what the heck we were going to. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's like an STS or an LDW nowadays. It's the same thing, right? It was just a small one. There was like maybe 100 people in the room. Went there so our daughter could learn how to earn some extra income. Okay, we caught the vision when we were there. And y'all, we left. And now remember, we had 5 businesses, 5 kids at home. We left. The next day, I jumped in my truck. I drove an hour and a half away from our house where we currently live because Jason had just opened up a smoothie shop in our hometown to a town that I had never been to. I knew nobody over there. And that day, signed a lease. A month later, opened up our first nutrition club. It's still open to this day. We opened it up 11 years, October of 2009, we opened up that nutrition club. It's called Bemidji Fusion. Still pumping out over 100 memberships or 100 shakes a day. Okay. So then that's how we really got involved in the business end of this. And we've been nutrition clubs since day one. It's really what attracted me to the business. Because I was a business owner, so I seen a tangible experience rather than inviting somebody. If you would have told me that I wanted to do this, inviting people into my living room, I'd be like, peace out, I'm going to build another house. But I had a tangible place to get somebody an experience and to create relationships. And from there, we hit global expansion team in 6 months, millionaire team in 18 months. And then we kind of relaxed a little bit. I don't want to say relax. We just tried different things. Like we went to the Philippines and we opened up a nutrition club with our family one summer. And we tried different things like a lot of people do, which you guys are kind of experiencing now. And then, so we sat at the millionaire team for 8.5 years. Okay. So then what happened is we were in a nutrition club. We got the opportunity move from northern Minnesota up by the Canadian border. And Jason had called one day and said, hey, we got an opportunity to take over a club in Florida. Do you want to team up and take this club over? And I'm like, it didn't take me 2 days probably to say yes. And it's like 26-hour drive to get here from where we came from. And I told my wife, and she said, yeah, she always wanted to get back to Florida because it's warm here and there doesn't snow. And so we headed up. We had a 4,000 square foot, and I don't know what that equates into square meters for y'all, but we had a 4,000 square foot, 6-bedroom home on 10 acres of land with our private lake, and we were sitting pretty comfortably up there. Let's put it that way. It was never about the money for us. It was always about the bigger vision, the end result. But we packed up a 5 foot by 8 foot trailer and 2 vehicles, and we headed south. We left everything else up in Minnesota. And then we took over that club, and that club did well. We were there for 3 years, 3.5 years. And then one day we were at a training at an LDW, me and Jason and my wife and Amber, we were at a LDW. And I said to Jason, I said, hey, Jason, I'm going to turn the club over and I'm going to go open up a club in a different community. He said, where are you going? And I mentioned 2 communities. And he said, if you go to where we're at now, Pace, he said, I'm in. I said, are you serious? This is 30K Pres team members at this time, y'all. And I'm like, you're going to do another club? He said, yep, I'm in. Well, Jason and I drove over here. Now, this is a community, again, I have never been to Pace, Florida until we came here to open up the smoothie shop. I didn't know a soul in this town. So 100% cold market. And we're like, where do we even look for a spot? I mean, I have no idea. So we did our research. We did some traffic counts, and we did where the town was expanding and where the house communities were and the schools. And so we really did our due diligence and our homework. And we landed on a spot that we walked up to the window because it had a for rent sign in the window. And Jason, I'm in the truck waiting, and Jason peeks inside and he goes, I think there used to be a smoothie shop here. I'm like, no way. Well, it used to be a coffee shop where we're at right now, Patriot Nutrition. So like the plumbing was already in place. The electrical was already in place. So we really just had to come in here and we gutted the place still because I'm a contractor and I wasn't going to, so we gutted it and made it our own. And I'll take you on a little tour before I leave so you guys can see through Zoom what the nutrition club looks like. We opened up our doors. August 22nd of 2018 is when we opened up Patriot Nutrition. And I think I'll end there because I'm going to get into a little bit more of the story, what's happened from here. And then now what's happened 13 months later on how this thing is duplicated. And maybe I can give you guys a little bit of vision of the potential that you guys have there. I am so jacked up for you all. You guys, you have no idea. And I just hope by the time this call is over, you can borrow my eyes, like Mark Hughes said, because I can see it. I know the potential of these things if you do it correctly. And that's the big thing. If you follow the steps and you do it correctly and you create royalty machines and not just a smoothie shop. And that's what we're going to get into a little bit during this call is how do I create a royalty machine and not just being hit and blend on and off all day long, because that's not what you want to create. Obviously, you're going to do that, but you're going to do it with intention, and it's the intention that you're going to go after. Good?
9 minutes in, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm on the edge of my seat already. So, Chad, Mark and I will just, we've talked about some questions here, and we're going to extract all of the goodness out of you. But I guess with that perfect snapshot of where you were at with your business, if we roll into our questions for you now, about say 5 years ago when you first moved to Florida and you were in the other club and things were going okay, where was your mindset at with your business? Because, we all can hit those, I guess, peaks and valleys. And I guess for the guys to understand perhaps what was the mental decision to, number one, move your life, but then to take your business to that next level with, thinking about Patriot and that expansion.
Yeah, and back then, Patriot wasn't even a blip in my eye, y'all. We were Mill Team and we were collecting Mill Team back then, but before we moved to Florida, our organizational volume was actually probably somewhere around 115,000 organizational volume points. So we were doing well. The opportunity is we weren't plugged into a system. So guess who was the system? Me and Lisa were the system, me and my wife. So what happened now, and this, if you talk about peaks and valleys, y'all, and weather in the storm and never, ever, ever quit, we moved to Florida, and within 1 year, okay, I'm going to give you some of the crud here, and I'm going to be totally transparent with you because it's not always peaches and cream, right? Within 1 year, because the system left and we didn't have a system for the team to plug into, our organizational volume dropped down to, is everybody sitting down? 35,000. So we went from 115 to 35,000 organizational volume points in about 13 months. And that's when I really had to dig deep. And thank God for terrific sponsors and terrific mentors like you all have on this call today. Because if it wasn't for Jason, you guys, and the conversation that I had with him about 3 years ago when that happened, I'd be building houses again. But what happened is I had a heart-to-heart with Jason, and Jason said, you have to make a decision. My decision was I sat down. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of the movie The Secret. I watched The Secret every day for 30 days straight. And I tell you, if that don't get your mind straight, I don't know what will. Because that's when I really locked horns with Jason and Amber, made a commitment. At that time, we still owned our construction company in Minnesota. But you always hear about burning plan B, right? Well, at that time, I always had a plan B. I could always go on done. I'm going to go back and build houses. Well, guess what? We sold our construction company that year. I made a decision, sold it, burn plan B. How do you take the beaches? You burn the boats, right? Well, we burnt the boat. And then it was like, okay, we're making it happen. And then we wallered and we built our way back up to collecting our full mill team check. And then that's about where we were when I had that conversation with Jason at the event that we're going to go break a new community.
Yeah, love it. Mark, I'll hand this one over to you.
Awesome, Chad. I'm loving this, man. So really, just so the guys are super clear and they get the details, because there's so many nuggets in your story here. There was decision and a commitment, a burning of plan B. So it's like, I'm all in. I'm going all in. But the reality was your mindset was all in. But the reality was you're at 35,000. We're in a millionaire team pin.
Yes. Hollow
Then there was a grind, I'm sure. A grind from 35 up to 80, 85 to recollect, to get their head above water. Tell us about that period of time. Where were you? What were you doing? Who was around you? What was your mindset like from the 35 to 85 to go, all right, I'm back? Yeah.
So when I made the decision with me and my wife, because my wife really almost made the decision for me. I'm not going to take credit for it, because when I went home and I talked to her about it, she said, we aren't quitting. I said, okay, clear. We're not quitting. So then I just went into a active supervisor mindset. What do I need to do to create active supervisors so that when we are collecting our millionaire team check, it's solid? So we literally went on an active supervisor mission, and we created active supervisors. We created 8 new active supervisors that year, which got us back up into that millionaire team collection check. Guys, it was just nose down, tail up. Don't look back. It's like, you're either coming or you're not. Like I tell my team, if you don't keep me busy, I'm going to find somebody that will. So it's totally up to you. It's that old chess game. You move, I move. You move, I move. If I move and you don't move, guess what? I'm going to go find somebody else that wants to move. And some of them FOMA set in. Some of them it didn't set in. Great. I knew who to work with.
That's so awesome, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's just brilliant. That's given us all the background and the history. So now we land. Patriot opens up August 22nd, 2018. Do you want to maybe go on a little tour now and just show the guys where you are now, the environment that you sit in now, and then we'll talk about obviously what's been happening recently.
Yep. So this is one thing that Jason and I did before we opened up Patriot. So we're in here. Like you can see these notes behind me right here on the wall. These were written out in August of 2018. So we each sat down, him at 30K, mine are right here underneath this one, and me at barely 4. I was at 3,988 royalty points when we opened up this club. Okay. and we just drew out our goals. What are our goals for Patriot? What are our personal goals over the next year? And so I would recommend, or I would say that is something to definitely take a look at and try on. As you're building out, sit down with whoever you're building out with or whoever you're opening up with and say, okay, what are our goals for the club? What are our goals for our personal businesses? Let's get it on paper so that it's always top mind awareness. Every time we walk into this office, it's in our face. It's like, okay, this is what we're here for. This is what we're doing. Okay, so I'm just sitting in a little office here. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. So I'm walking into Patriot right now. What's up, Robert? How y'all doing today? Okay, so I'm just gonna go outside. You can see from the outside in. So this is Patriot Nutrition, y'all. We're in a strip mall, and here's the road, and then that's not the main highway. That's just a road that goes to communities. If you can hear me, can you hear me? Okay, and then we're gonna walk into Patriot. So you walk into Patriot, and as you can see, this is our bar. That's Tiffany back there. She's one of the coaches, and then Amy's up back there as well. You walk into the bar, and that's our order station right here. So you walk up to the bar, you place your order, and then back here is where the magic happens. So if you look back here, we've got the tea station right here where they make their teas. You got a sink there with some ice, and then down there, there's blenders, and then the sink, the ice. Okay, and then if you go over here, you got some seating area. We got some customers enjoying their smoothies. How are the smoothies?
The smoothies are great.
Robert, how long have you been coming into the nutrition club? So Robert's been a regular customer. He followed us from Access, the original nutrition club that we opened up down here in Florida. 38 pounds lost, coming in and enjoying shakes at the nutrition club, y'all. And then we got a bar here with seats where people can belly up to the bar. We got a little seating area back here. These are all folks from Australia, y'all. From down under. We got a couch area right back here. And then we have a TV that just has results. So people's results. Is that good?
So good.
Thank you, guys. And then this area, this is a separate area that we had that it came along with the lease. And we just set it up for like a little kids room. They can come in here and play and make noise, and their parents can enjoy their shakes. And then back here is our strategy wall. So like we always have stuff on our strategy wall. Like this is, you guys do the 3-day trial system, right? Well, each month you can see here the coaches all wrote their names down, and these are their goals for 3-day trials for the month. And then these are the trials that they have out for this month. So as you can see, through the Nutrition Club, Amy has 28 trials out this month. She has 7 new preferred members. She has 1 new distributor. So this is all just keeping everything top mind awareness for them, but also me as their upline. If there's a gap, I know that if they're getting a ton of trials out, they're not getting enough PMs, there's a gap there somewhere. I need to close that gap with them and work with them on that gap. So it just keeps top mind awareness. And then we have, this is for our next training. People that have their tickets, that need their tickets, and people we need to talk to. So that's just our little strategy. And then there were promotional tracking for different promotions that we have going on. So they all hang them up. It almost keeps the coaches accountable to each other, and then plus to themselves, because it's right in the public eye. People can see it. And there you go. You've seen Patriot Nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, Chad. And we see that now, and it's rocking and it's pumping and the numbers are big and everyone wants to be a part of it. It's all jiving, right? You're in momentum. It's perfect. If you can take us back now to, that's the vision. We know we can do that, and we're going to do that. Talk to us about the first 3 to 4 months of Patriot. You and Jason show up, I guess. You turn the key, you're open. What does the first 120 days look like? Because we're, 42 days into our 120 days, and some of the guys are 4 days in, and some are signing leases, and we are where you were at. August 15th, 2018 is where most of us are at right now. So
it's the most exciting part, y'all. I mean, it's not like, has anybody ever seen Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. Well, guess what? Get that out of your head. If you build it and you work your hind end off to get them in the door, you will be successful. That's where you got to land. I mean, like we have a pre-open plan. I'm sure you guys got some kind of a pre-open plan. And so what I did in the community is I had cute little flyers. Jason took care of the social media end of it, Jason and Amber. I took care of the hand-to-hand, eye-to-eye communication with people in the community. So I went out and pounded the pavement and handed out 3,500 little invitation cards, letting people know that we're opening up in your community. And we're in a population of, I mean, the PACE population isn't much more than that. So, I mean, I was like, and handing out in the community, getting to know people, establishing relationships, because remember, we didn't know a soul. So I'm just trying to get to know people, letting them get to know who we are, so that when they come in the door, they can see a familiar face. And guess what? After all of that, we rocked it. I think we did 15 our first day. Killer numbers, right? But now, so like our first month, we averaged 39 shakes a day. And I'm telling you, y'all, we're a couple of skilled nutrition club owners. We've done this for a long time. It's normal. It's super normal because our whole mission was, and we made a commitment to each other. We're not talking Herbalife. We're not talking 3-day trials. We're not talking anything about the product. All we want to do is get people in the door and create relationships with them. And that's all we focused on, guys. So that's, and it was totally intentional. So our first month we averaged 39, and I don't know how far you want me to go into that right now, but like then we went to like 43 our second month. Still not talking 3-day trials, not trying to sell anybody anything, just creating relationships. Because that's what these things are, guys. These are a relationship building machine that will eventually evolve into a royalty building machine if you do it correctly. Because if we would have started out right on day one and all of a sudden we're trying to pump product down people's mouth and to take home, all we are is another sales MLM company coming into the community to try to brainwash them. And that's why we intentionally didn't have Herbalife pasted everywhere. Because Herbalife has a negative connotation in some people's minds, but they've never even tasted it, but because they're going off of what their cousin's, uncle's, aunt's cat told them. It's like, hello, just get in here and try a shake. You're going to love it. So, I mean, and that's why you've seen in there, all the walls are white. It's not like the Easter Bunny threw up in there. There's not a ton of Herbalife. It's just clean. We went from 43 to 59 to like 78. I don't have the exact numbers, but just picture this, you guys. By creating the relationship that we created in the first 3 months and not talking 3-day trials and not talking Herbalife and not trying to sell people anything, just getting them into the door and establishing like family. By month 7, are you sitting down? On a daily basis, we averaged 190 shakes out the door. Our highest day was a 6-hour day. We did 301 shakes in one day. Now imagine what happens to your royalty when you're pumping 301 consumptions out that door, because all you did in the beginning is establish relationships and trust with the community. So, I mean, in the beginning, it's going to be like you're trudging through the mud, and it's going to be hard to bite your tongue because you guys are so used to recruiting and recruiting and recruiting. But I'm telling you, the biting of your tongue will pay off tenfold, and you'll hear the numbers of what have happened at Patriot, and it blows my mind. And I've been doing this for a while. But I know it's all because of the way of the mentality and the different mentality that we came into this particular club with, and the way we nurtured it, and we just nurtured relationships.
Absolutely love it. Like the guys are probably like, We have not even started. We have not even started. We've started. It's an important acknowledgement, but like it's so amazing to hear the vision of where we're going. So, Chad, you already spoke about some of the great tips you gave us about Patriot, but you know, I guess if you could share with the guys, it's about obviously setting up your club to be functional and, you know, doing the pre-open plan. But if you could give them one or two things that really creates the magic behind the bar, because we saw you guys, like we sat there and we saw, you know, I won't say what we saw because that's the magic, but if you could share a little bit about what happens behind the scenes so that there is that incredible, you know, energy.
Yeah. Music for sure. You will never hear country western music in one of our shops. It's always upbeat club music, unless it's like the Cotton Eye Joe or something like that, where you got a little beat to it. But you're not going to hear Garth Brooks and Waylon Jennings playing in our nutrition clubs because music sets the stage. Okay, so you're always going to hear like club dance music, and it's usually at a volume where you have to speak elevated intentionally, because that brings instantly brings the energy up in the club. Okay, so if you walk into a club and it's stone quiet, there isn't much energy, right? You're like, I don't even want to talk because I don't want nobody to hear what I'm saying because I'm brand new and I'm afraid they're going to know I'm brand new. Whereas if you've got that music elevated, people are more apt to talk, they're more apt to dance, they're more, you know, like y'all, I'm like a raging idiot during the day behind the bar. I'm a totally different person because I know my job is, if that person walks in that door with a frown, they are leaving with a smile. I don't care what I have to do. They are leaving with a smile. So I dance. I don't know how to dance. I don't care if I don't know how to dance. I dance like an idiot. It makes them laugh. I did my job, right? And behind the bar, we have different roles behind the bar. Like we'll usually always have 2 to 3 people, usually 3 people on a shift. And it's only because our numbers are so high, y'all. We started out with just Jason and myself. But Jason and myself, we're a couple of dudes from the country. But I tell you, we can act like idiots and make people laugh. And we jab each other, but we do it with intention. We know we're doing it with intention to make somebody laugh or to make their day or just to create relationships. And then we just put people in their strength zones behind the bar. Like Tiffany that you saw out there is phenomenal at the front counter, like talking to people and greeting people. And we all greet, because Tiffany will get busy at the front bar. I might be all the way back at the blender or washing dishes. If I see that door open up and Tiffany's busy, that person doesn't get 2 steps in the door before I say, hey, what's going on? How you doing today? And I elevate my voice, brings the energy up, raises their state. So I'm yelling all the time, hey, what's going on? And I'll dig the customers even. You know, I'll be like, hey, have a great day, even if you have other plans. As soon as they're walking out the door, I'll say something like that because they remember it. You don't leave another restaurant and they say, have a great day, even if you have other plans or whatever. I mean, I say all kinds of stupid stuff. They'll ask me, how's it going? I'm like, finer than frogs here. They laugh. It changes their state. They remember it. I mean, they're like making up a book of quotes for Chad quotes because I just say stupid stuff, but I do it intentionally because I want them to remember where they're at. And then as far as like behind the bar, we just put people in their strengths. Like I said, Tiffany's good at now we can all work at the counter. We can all do it. But we just try to put people in their strengths and where they're at and where they can work most efficiently. And then when we design the back of that bar, nobody ever has to cross each other's path back there. So like the shake maker never has to come up to the front counter and bump into anybody. The tea maker never has to come to the front counter and bump into the front counter person. Everybody has their zone and everybody has their duties. And it works so good for communication. Because like somebody can be up at the front counter talking to Tiffany and I'm always listening, always. I'm always listening to the conversation because I want to know what they're talking about. Because then when that person comes around to grab their shake, I pick that conversation right back up where Tiffany left off. And so it might be somebody interested in a 3-day trial. It might be somebody interested in the business opportunity. You know, anything like that, I pick that conversation right back up because we work as one team, one dream. And then once we get that established on what the person wants, we get their phone number, and then we get that to the person it would go to. Is that kind of what you're looking for there?
Yeah.
But it's all about energy, y'all. It's like, I mean, I've spilt shakes. Like, I'll give you an example. One day, right, I'm behind the bar, and it's busy. I'm busier than one-legged man in a butt kicking contest back there. Right? It's like I grabbed the shake, and I'm making the shake, and I hit the blender with my elbow, right? And I hadn't put ice in it yet and hadn't blended it. So it's just water and powder in that thing. The thing tips over, and I filled my pants pocket completely full of shake mix. It all dumped right, water and all, into my pants. I'm like, I laughed about it. I made fun about it. I didn't clean it up. I grabbed another blender. I made that person a shake. Laughed about it the whole time as I got shakes in my shoe, in my pants. I'm like, whatever. But I'll tell you what, those people came back the next day because I didn't freak out. I didn't say, oh, son of a gun. Oh, I didn't ruin my day, and it didn't ruin their day. That's the big thing. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I could have just as well, you stub your toe, it can either ruin your day or it can't ruin your day. It's your choice. You spill a shake, you can either make a production out of it, or you can let it ruin somebody else's day on the other side of the counter because you're arguing with the person to clean the shake up. It's whatever. Nobody cries over spilled shake, right? I just drove on, cleaned up when the people were gone, and it was great.
Loved it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And you like Tom Cruise behind the bar at Patriot. We've not yet got a lid sealer, so wouldn't recommend it here in Australia. But Chad's like flipping the shakes, and it's amazing. So we've experienced that energy. Quick one, I guess, just for the guys that have opened a club already, and for ourselves included, how important is that ongoing, like, I guess, the activities of outreach around being at the club? So obviously, you know, I think you termed it to us, you're in the club until this time of the day, and then you finish and you pick up like your other side of the bar business.
Yeah. So like I made a commitment to be in this place 5 days a week. I don't have to be in here 5 days a week. I'm not on the schedule 5 days a week. I'm the upline in the nutrition club. I made a commitment as the upline in the nutrition club to be 5 days a week. But like in the beginning, it was just Jason and I. But during, I don't know, what do you all guys do? What are you doing? I don't know what your 10 steps looks like or your pre-op looks like. Are you doing like tea drops or anything like that yet?
Yes.
Okay. So like on downtime, we would go out and do a T-bomb drop off at the business down the street to promote coming into the club for lunch. We would go out and I would do invitations during the day, 50 invitations a day, whatever your number might be, but make sure it's consistent. 20 to 50 invites a day out in the community, hand to hand, eye to eye. Hey, come and see us. Check us out. We're new. We're here. Come on. So that was all stuff daily that we did. The T-bomb drop-offs, I always went live on Facebook when I was in the business. And we did the thing about a T-bomb drop too, guys, and I think this is important. You're not doing you're doing a T-bomb obviously to build your club, but you're not going to promote it that way. I promoted it always as, we're going to come into your business. We're going to go live on Facebook. We're going to cut a commercial for your business on our Facebook page so all of our followers can see it. And if you would, we would appreciate it if you shared that on your Facebook page. So it wasn't what Patriot was going to get from them. It's what Patriot was going to provide to them. Not only are they going to get a free energy tea, but they're also going to get a commercial on our Facebook page to reach we had like 1,500 followers at that time, to establish maybe more business for them. But that live is the magic, you guys. It is the magic sauce, because then they share it on their Facebook. And what did you just do? You just hit a whole nother center of influence that you don't have any idea even exists at this time. Absolutely. And we did after 30 days of the Nutrition Club being open, we called it a 30 for 30 campaign. We did 30 tea drops in 30 days at 30 different businesses. And that really blew us up.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Chad, when we were there, Em, do you have something on the tip of your tongue?
Nope.
No, you're good. Chad, when we were there, you were super strong and clear on 0 to 50, 50 to 75, and 75 to 100. I know that you know what that means. If you could just explain why that is, just that really helped Em and I line up our expectations of
From a royalty perspective?
consumptions per day. You get that base of 50 coming in, and then the energy's up, and then it starts to move 50 to 75. And you were saying to me, just pump the brakes, chill. Here's the segment. So
yeah. So like I said, the magic happens between 75 and 100, y'all. So like 0 to 50, it's all about relationships, creating relationships. 50 to 75, you're starting to get some people asking some questions. They're going to start asking, they might see the 3-day trial kit on the wall and they start asking questions about it. But we're still not pushing it. And I'll tell you, I think we were at like 75 to 100 memberships a day when I did our first 3-day trial. And then what happened, though, is I posted the results of that 3-day trial. And y'all, it was like, it's like somebody pulled the cork out of the Hoover Dam. And I'm like, I'm pumping out trials. Like, I'm like, holy, I couldn't even keep them in stock. I probably did, in 2 months, I probably did 75 to 100 trials. But it was all because of the waiting, you guys, biting our tongue in the beginning and not being a salesman. And I never asked one single person if they wanted to do a trial. That's the kicker. They all asked me. Now, how many want that happening in their nutrition clubs? That's where that whole thing in the beginning I talked about. Be patient. It'll happen. I mean, it's going to be some work in the beginning to get that going, but it's so worth the wait. It's so worth the wait when all of a sudden you post them first results and it's like, oh man, she did whoa. And I'm like, whoa. And then that's actually when we got our first coach too, was at that time Tiffany came on board. And then Tiffany got out 88 trials in her first 2 months. So it's like, because we had created that momentum and she just came right in and she just fit right into that momentum. And she had 88 trials on her first 3 months. Tiffany made global expansion team in 6 months as well. Now she'll hit her first cut of 2.5 next month and probably be in cuts of the mill team by Extravaganza. And her 1 year anniversary is November. She just started in November of 2018. And that's just one story out of Patriot.
Chad, we're loving this, man. Can you just continue with this conversation of, okay, bite your tongue, build the community, the trials will go out, members, then the coaches will come. Can you talk about the development of the coaches, the behind the bar, Tiffany, and anyone else that you've built out of Patriot and what that currently looks like?
Yeah, and we had a theory from day one. It was our motto. We stick to it. We weren't interested in producing smoothie makers. We were interested in producing wellness coaches. Okay, so that means we didn't get grab happy when somebody said they wanted to work behind the bar. Awesome. Let's plug you into the 10 steps. Let's get you started on a 3-day trial because that's part of the system, right? If they don't want to do a 3-day trial, great. You can't be a wellness coach. I'm sorry. I don't care how much you love Patriot. Come and have a shake with us. I won't allow it. But let's get you on a 3-day trial. Once you're done with the trial, you're going to go through the system and we'll get you plugged into our 10 steps like you all have. And then once you're going through those 10 steps, you're not going to become a distributor until you get out 3-day trials, and then we'll allow you to convert to a distributor. Okay, you earn the right to be a distributor. It's not just a given. And then in order to become a partner or somebody behind the bar in Patriot Nutrition, they have to hit the qualified producer level, coaching people one-on-one, getting out 3-day trials. Because what that does, you guys, and just think about this, is that a lot to learn? I mean, if you all been through the 10 steps and you started coaching and you got to learn about product and you got to learn how to troubleshoot a program, is that a lot? That's a lot. That's like in itself, that's a lot. Okay, so now imagine bringing somebody in. Okay, let's get you on a trial. Let's get you going through the 10 steps. And then tomorrow you start your training in the club. We're going to teach you how to make a shake. We're going to teach you how to wash dishes, teach you how to do inventory. We're going to teach you how to make tea. We're going to teach you how to run the iPad. It's like, whoa, mind-boggling. They're not going to master any of it. So our philosophy is master coaching first, learn that skill set. Once you're done learning that skill set, then we'll transition you behind the bar, because now you got a whole nother set of skills to learn, but you've already mastered these. Does that make sense, y'all? And this is all, guys, this is experience. This is not like thought of overnight, because we've done that. We're like, holy crap, we're busy. We just want somebody to take a shift so we can get an hour out of here. So you grab anybody you can grab that can hit blend, and then pretty soon they're a partner in the club and they have no idea how to even do a wellness profile. And we weren't interested in that anymore. I'm like, if people come in here and they want that, great, go to the Smoothie King down the road and get a job. You can be a smoothie maker. Here, you're going to be a wellness coach first. Is that clear?
Yeah, so clear, Chad. Thank you. So some of the guys on the call are at that stage that you just described perfectly. They're learning the 10 steps. We've obviously introduced trials as something new into the group. And really, yourself and Jason changed our perspective massively on the value of a 3-day trial. So could I ask you to touch on that for the guys for a second?
Oh, absolutely, y'all. That was a transition for our whole organization too at one time. When they came out with them, we weren't sure if we were going to go with it or not. But then we saw the we got together our leadership and we saw the vision of what it can produce. I mean, it's like, $20 to try the product for 3 days. And the results that they get in 3 days are sometimes mind-boggling. And it's like, it's $20. Date it before you marry it. I mean, I absolutely freaking love the 3-day trial. I mean, who doesn't have $20, right? And trust me, I didn't have any problem selling a $150 program. I could sell we have never been, I can count on both of these hands in 10 years how many times our personal volume has been under 10,000. I had no problem selling it, but it was so duplicatable for a brand new coach so it's not really about y'all. If you're all seasoned coaches, the 3-day trial isn't about y'all. You guys have skill. Your brand new coaches coming in without skill, they can sell $20. And that is going to transition if you take care of them into that lean and fit or breakfast program, which is that bigger sale and preferred membership or whatever. I don't know, you guys have distributor, right? Yeah, it's going to turn into that distributor. But it's just really, I mean, you grab that sucker. That's all I can say. If you just grab it and watch your numbers after like 6 months, because I mean, 88 3-day trials out in 2 months. That's like trying to get 88 programs out in 2 months, y'all.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell them, date it before you marry it. See what you think. Test drive it. You don't buy a brand new car and not test drive it, do you?
I think we'll steal that one. Date it before you marry it. That is.
Oh, use it.
Perfect. The Chad. I hope everyone's jotting down the quotes. We'll add it to the record. Great. So just before we move on to our last couple of questions, I guess since opening Patriot, this is what really blew Mark and I's mind and vision. Could you share with us the duplication? Like obviously you spoke about Tiffany, but I guess those supervisor numbers for you and what's happened to your royalties since opening Patriot. Not even 18 months ago, you've just had the first birthday. So yeah.
Yeah, 14 months. So I'll show you a little diagram here. I just made it up. So imagine 14 months ago, it was just me and Jason in the community. We didn't know a soul, right? And here is what has happened. Okay, so these are just clubs. So we have right here, I don't know if you can you see this? The squares?
Yes.
So we have 10 of the club right now upside nutrition. Josh is over the club elevation nutrition. Angela has opened up called Full Time Play Nutrition. Panther Nutrition has opened up. Patriot Nutrition is us.
Hey,
Obviously.
Chad, sorry, brother. I
Yep.
think your hand might be over the speaker.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now we can.
I'll just turn it here and I'll just talk. You see
Thank
it
you,
in
man.
the picture, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 frontline clubs opened up. Every single one of them are active supervisors. 2 of them are world team. One of them is global expansion team. One of them is going to hit active world team this month. Okay, that's frontline. And that's just clubs. Okay, that's not including the other supervisors that didn't open up clubs that are doing business elsewhere. We have 1, 2, 3 second line clubs that have opened up. And we have 1, 2 third line clubs that have opened up in 14 months. Okay. And then I have it written down here. We have, right now, we have, including satellite clubs, we have 12 nutrition clubs that have spawned off of Patriot Nutrition in 14 months. And if you look at our paper, if you look right here, is it on here? It might be on right here. 10 clubs in 12 months. That was what we said August of 2018. We want to open up 10 clubs in 12 months. Well, we did 12 in 14. Not too bad. From a royalty perspective, y'all, I told you what our royalty was in August of 2018, 3,988. Last month, we closed out at 8,379 royalty point, 8,392 royalties. This month, we'll hit our first cut of Prez. And we've created 1 global expansion team member who will hit global expansion 2.5. We'll have 3 active world team members frontline by the end of the year. So in 1 year, we've created 3 active world team members, possibly 4, and a global expansion team member who will get 2.5. And multiple, we've added 6 active supervisors frontline.
So, Chad, those numbers again: 3 frontline active world team, 1 get who will be get 2.5, and then next to that, an additional 6 active supervisors.
Those 6 active supervisors total in our front level.
Got you.
Yeah. Total supervisors, we've added 28 supervisors in our front 3.
28 in 3 levels in 14 months.
Correct.
These are
Who wants
active.
that?
These are active supervisors too. I think is the key point here. These guys are producing. They've got a level of activity above and beyond 0.
Yes. I'm not interested in zeros.
Chad,
But
we have. You go.
It's the philosophy that cultivates the active supervisors. It's the biting your tongue that cultivates the active supervisor. It's the not taking somebody on as a club partner out of desperation that creates an active supervisor. And that's why I say in the beginning, it's going to be tough. It's especially if you're skilled and you've been doing this for a while, it's hard to bite your tongue because you know darn well you can get that person started on a 3-day trail on day 1. The hard part is not doing that. Good.
So good. Chad, just I guess for like this has been mind-boggling and we could keep you here all day, but
I have time. Don't worry about the hour time limit, y'all. I'm here as long as you want me, okay?
thank you guys. If you do have questions for Chad, you can pop them in the chat box. But what I'd love you to share with the guys is, the last 14 months, really, the last few years, there's been so many sacrifices from your end. And we saw the motorhome and we know you love sleeping next to Jason and, the bachelor pad. But I guess for some of the guys that, we have a good life here in Australia. We're very lucky. But I think sometimes with that comes a sense of, sometimes it's a bit, we'll see how it goes, or we've got a saying here, she'll be right. And I think sometimes it was certainly great for us to see yourself and Jason, you know, lifting and shifting your life, spending time away from your family, and, you know, the sacrifice that sometimes needs to come first before you see that growth in your business. Would you mind sharing with the guys your perspective there?
Yeah, no worries. It's what are you willing to give up to achieve your goal, I guess, is kind of what this subject is going to be. In the beginning, I'm a big avid hunter and fisherman. Like 10 years ago, if you would have told me that I wasn't going to be hunting and fishing, I'd have told you I'll be dead first. But as I grew in my personal growth, some of the things that I gave up temporarily was hunting and fishing. Okay, well that got us to the millionaire team, but just that wasn't going to get us to the president's team. And I'm not saying to give up everything that you love in life. Do it in moderation. Okay, I'm not saying that by any means. This is just what I chose to do. But then this time, I mean, I have a house in Fort Wall, about an hour and a half away from our shop. We live comfortably in our house, but Jason and I, and Jason now is a 40K Pres team member at this time, and I'm still mill team. We literally packed up the RV. So we currently, and we rolled into an RV park because we wanted to become a part of the community. That was another big thing why we did this, is we wanted to become a part of this community. I didn't want to have to drive home at night. I didn't want to have to worry about, I got to stay at the club late and I got to get home and get up tomorrow morning. And I think that was a huge part of our success too, is we really embedded ourselves in this community. So for the last 14 months, y'all, Monday through Friday and a lot of Saturdays, I live in an RV. My wife lives in Fort Walton Beach in our house. I see her Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday night, I pack up and I head back to the RV. So that was the big, I think that was and that's a commitment. You know, some of you all might not be there right now. Great, that's okay. But what can you do that might not be easy to do, but you know it's necessary to do to get you to that next level? You know, it could be something simple. It could be something like reading personal development, but 15 minutes a day. You know, it could be, can I commit to that so that my personal growth can grow? Because Jim Rohn says your check will never grow faster than your personal development, right? I mean, your check can come up to here. If your personal development is down here, your check's going to come back down and meet you where your personal development is at. So maybe it's just doing 15 minutes of personal development a day. Whereas and that might have been 15 minutes that you were sleeping. Well, that's a sacrifice. You're giving up 15 minutes of sleep to do 15 minutes of personal development. So it doesn't need to be catastrophic like we did. I mean, if you can do that and you're in a situation to do that to break a new market, great. I highly recommend it because it's worked out pretty well for us. But yeah, I think it's just really, take a look at what you got going on right now. Look at where you want to be, and can I give something up, or can I implement something that's going to help me to get there? Does that make sense? So like, I mean, I have routines. I do a half-hour personal development every single night before I go to bed. It's a routine, and I go to the RV, and life is good.
Chad, man, we could keep you all day, and we want to keep you all day, but it's 9 a.m. here, and some of us have got clubs to open because we've got to put in practice what you've just been teaching us. So, man, we just want to wrap this up. Number one, thank you, and for me, I'm just getting your attitude. It's coming out in everything that you say, and no wonder you're getting the results that you're getting. And First Cup President's Team, we're cheering you on from Australia. Guys, follow Patriot Nutrition. Give Chad his shout out. Give him his acknowledgement, his recognition, because he's just poured into us for 60 minutes plus. And mate, for that, we thank you dearly.
Hey, you guys, it was an honor. And honestly, anytime, feel free. You guys, if you need anything, I am so jacked up for you all over there. I mean, I was texting Mark the other night. I'm like, I'm bloody excited, as y'all would say, to see because y'all honestly just stay the course. The magic is gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm jacked up for y'all. I'm excited to see where y'all come, and I can't wait to come over and meet y'all in person sometime.
Oh, we're definitely going to have you come out, you know, like on an Australian stage. You guys could imagine, like, Chad, I think you were Australian in your past life. Like, seriously. But the guys will be coming up and giving you huge hugs in San Antonio. No doubt you'll be probably getting your 15K pin or 20K pin, who even knows, right? But that's the goal. We're just all working so hard so we can thank you and Amber and Jay in person when we see you in San Antonio. So can we take a massive group photo? And on behalf of all of us, we just are so, so grateful for your time, Chad. So everyone show us your beautiful smiling faces and a big photo with the Chad. 1, 2, 3. Absolutely love it. Thank you.
And Mark, you're going to be on stage with us. So come on, team. We all can do this. A lot of pin changes are going to happen this year. Stay the course.
Yep, that's it. That's it. So thank you, Chad. Have a great night. Say hi to the gang for all of us. And, you know, I guess share with them that sometimes even if they think they're just affecting the United States, like they're affecting Australia, New Zealand, Canada, like their impact is going all over the world. So we love you guys and we're just so grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited. Australia has been on my vision board for 10 years, y'all. So
it's happening.
You'll be here soon, man. Sooner than you think. Thanks again.
all right, I love each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Of course. Look at, they're doing fit camp.
Yeah, you got him jacked up.
Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.